Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. When it comes to home theater seating as March Madness approaches, Games and Things offers the best quality seats you can find in Knoxville. I bought my last pair at Games and Things, and I've studied dozens of different choices they had there, and I've been very happy with the pair that I bought. Really like them. OurGameRoom.com is where you can learn more, but drop in and see Lisa and Scott Mellon down at Games and Things. They're at the corner of Kingston Pike and Level Road. Just a fun place to go. They've been doing it for more than 40 years, folks. That's a sign of a good company, Games and Things. Okay, David Ubben back with us from The Athletic. This week you wrote a story on there about a group called Spire Sports here in Knoxville. Most likely our viewers are aware of them, and they are the chief NIL fundraisers on UT's behalf. But you got into collectives. That's the term that's being kicked around for these groups at all these schools who are raising money. Let me give just an overview to the folks, so you can tell me if I've missed anything big here, but let me quickly go through this for you. All right, the collectives. These are outside groups that raise funds and promise to pay that money to athletes. Depending on state laws, they technically can't act in 100% concert with schools, but come on, let's be honest. Spire Sports, right here, the UT-based collective, was started by former agents with the A3 agency here in town. They can have their own visits with recruits, which I find remarkable. They openly say that they offer cars, apartments, tires, income, land, whatever. They can offer it. All right. They say a UT quarterback should make 7 figures per year. They've gotten grassroots fundraising lessons from DC contacts that Heath Schuler helped them get. So obviously these are well thought out, sharp guys to say, hey, how can we learn how to do grassroots fundraising? Let's get in touch with Heath Schuler, and he can hook us up with people. Brilliant. Donors give money in exchange for meet and greets with players and T-shirts. But somehow the money can't be given as an inducement to go to a specific school. That part I don't really understand how they can say it's not an inducement when clearly all these guys are inducing it. As wild as it sounds, all these collectives are 100% free and clear to do every bit of this, supposedly. Spire Sports says their budget will need to be at $25 million in the near future, with them taking a percentage off the top. And David, that's what, 10%?
Yeah.
What they're telling you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, was that a proper summary? Is there anything big I left out?
And that's about it. I mean, it's this has never existed in the history of college sports, at least not publicly. I think these were, I don't think it's so naive to act that money has not been flowing in college sports, and it sort of looks like this, but not really, and not this official. And now that you can sort of negotiate above the table, the money is exploding.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that okay, well, it's just taking the money from below the table and putting it over the table. There were not $25 million in illegal inducements coming through Tennessee before this. So
the idea of spending right now, I think a lot of people that are leadership in the space feel like the going rate is around $10 million for 2023. You don't hear a lot about people in the black market days spending more than $1 million on a class. Like, guys would get chunks here and there and all that stuff. The money is exponentially more than it has ever been.
Well, and, the fact that they can openly offer cars and apartments and just say, were you surprised at some of the stuff you heard? Because I'll be honest with you, reading this for the first time, and I give you credit, man, this is what the written word is supposed to be. You were the first one through the door, you found this, you used them in the local group as an example of what collectives are, and I know that people all over the country have been calling you. Good job, you deserve the credit. But a lot of people like me were shocked when they saw, I've been seeing Spire Sports talking about, hey, look, we're giving T-shirts out. I'm like, oh, gosh, that's the best Tennessee can do? Little did I know, okay, they claim to be driving sports cars over to the nearest.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at what you heard?
I did not realize the money was as big as it was. You talk to people, you kind of hear things, but I think the fact that this is just going to be what the market is surprising to me. That I think we all kind of knew it was probably heading this way. It's been 6-7 months.
Yeah, it's jumped a lot farther.
It's been so fast. Like that, I don't think I saw it would be happening this fast. But again, people care about college sports. People want to win. We joke about it. It deserves derision, but it just means more is a real thing. And I think you're seeing that sort of come to life.
There were a lot of people who did not expect this. There were a lot of people that, well, look, I was one of the guys that said the Wild West is coming. It's wilder than I ever imagined. But there were people who said it's not. It's going to be, somebody's going to get a free burger because they tweet a few times. Well, that was wrong, 100% wrong. Ryan, I'll get to, Jimmy and Bob, hold on. I'll let you guys lead the next segment. But Ryan, as a guy who covers recruiting for GoVols 24/7, your thoughts on the collectives and all that they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to blow up this quickly like you guys were saying, but I'm not surprised that it's come to this, that people are figuring out a way to funnel money to players and essentially have it represent a certain school. That's where this thing was probably always headed. It just got there a lot quicker than I think a lot of people thought. I'm surprised by the dollar figures being thrown around in some cases already. I do think it's still, the average player out there is not getting 6 or 7 figures to go to college. I think this is only for the outstanding players. But yes, if you're a standout player, I mean, there's one site already throwing out NIL evaluations for prospects, and Arch Manning, a 2023 prospect, obviously nephew of Peyton Manning, has a valuation of somewhere around, last time I looked, $1.6 million according to that site. So I mean, there are things like that make you realize if you're a big star, you're going to make a lot of money with this format. And we'll talk later, I'm sure, about the solutions, but I don't see it going anywhere.
Potential big star.
Yeah. Well, you've also got, I mean, there are some that. The University of Texas, $50,000 a year for, it's not 6 figures, but $50,000 a year for any lineman on scholarship, any offensive lineman on scholarship. There's money out there even for the guys who aren't the stars. But are you sending me a note? You're giving me looks? Or?
No, I'm writing down a bunch of questions.
By the way, the NCAA, I love this. The NCAA announced Friday that they would now be studying the impact of NIL. They cited concerns about potential rules violations, about representation of athletes as they're to broker their deals, booster involvement, schools potentially arranging deals.
No.
My God, who saw this? The NCAA, there's nothing I don't see how they do anything.
No.
How can you put the toothpaste, because you never let any of the toothpaste out of the tube, the Supreme Court came in and just smashed it with a sledgehammer, toothpaste everywhere, and now there's no putting it back in that tube. The tube's destroyed.
Yeah, the combination of bad intentions and a lack of competency, good luck to the NCAA on whatever they think they're going to do. It's a waste of a lot of people's time, quite frankly.
They seem like Barney fumbling.
Yes, they do at this point. All right, when we come back, I'm going to let all these guys have a quick question with David or make their own points about this NIL stuff. And then also, we're going to get back, is this good for Tennessee? Where Spire Sports is, are there other collectives coming? Where is Tennessee in all this? So we'll talk about that. Come on back on the Sports Source.